Those of you who follow me or my channel know firsthand how I feel about the R.M.S. Titanic. In my opinion, her grace and beauty has been unmatched to this day. I am also fond of the SS United States. Yes, America's flagship. I have done several videos on her as well. As of this writing, May 27, 2024, she is on the verge of being evicted out of Pier 82 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Currently, we are waiting on a judge's ruling to determine the lease situation. By the way, I'll be doing a video on the whole situation as soon as it concludes, one way or the other. I was recently going through the website for the Conservancy, www.ssusc.org, and noticed that in the drop-down menu under America's Flagship, I noticed a comparison between the SS United States and the R.M.S. Titanic. Of course, Titanic sank on her maiden voyage in 1912. However, we are still lucky enough to have the SS United States. She is literally wasting away at Pier 82 in Philadelphia Harbor. Yet across the country in California, millions are being spent on the Queen Mary for her preservation and repairs. Now, don't get me wrong, the Queen Mary is a spectacular ship with an illustrious career of her own. But she is England's ship, and the SS United States is ours. Wouldn't it make more sense to invest in the future of the SS United States instead? But who knows what will happen to her, the SS United States. We can only wait and see. So when it comes to the comparison, when you click on America's Flagship, you can scroll down in the drop-down menu, and then you'll see SS United States versus R.M.S. Titanic. Once you click the link, you're taken to a page that shows you both of these beautiful ships. There are side-by-side comparisons listed on top, then a more detailed description below. But let's take a minute to get to know both ships briefly. The R.M.S. Titanic. The ship was designed by Thomas Andrews for the White Star Line. Construction began on March 31st of 1909 and lasted for 2 years. Titanic was the largest ship built prior to 1912 and the largest moving object ever built by man. The Titanic had 3 bronze propellers that weighed a total of 92 tons. Titanic had 4 funnels, 3 of which were exhaust vents for the boilers that ran from the engines. The 4th funnel was added to balance the ship's profile to make it look grander. The ship was built from 2,000 1-inch thick steel plates held together by more than 3 million rivets. The hull alone weighed 26,000 tons. The ship contained more than 2,000 portholes. Her grand staircase went all the way from the boat deck down to the reception room outside the dining saloon on D deck, and then even continued down to E deck. The grand staircase was paneled in oak and included a wrought iron and glass skylight. The style of the decor was Louis XVIII, the Empire Italian Renaissance, Georgian Renaissance, Queen Anne, and Old Dutch styles. It took 10 months to decorate Titanic. Sadly, the R.M.S. Titanic would sink on her maiden voyage on April 15, 1912, on her way to New York. Moving on to the SS United States, the fastest passenger ship ever conceived and the only remaining U.S.-built luxury liner from the transatlantic era. The SS United States combined mid-century technology, luxury, and design with a top-secret Cold War mission. Built as part of a public-private partnership between the U.S. government and United States lines, she could be converted into the fastest troop carrier ship in the world, capable of ferrying 14,000 troops 10,000 miles without refueling. The SS United States was a lifelong passion of America's preeminent naval architect, William Francis Gibbs. Gibbs achieved breakthroughs in efficient hull design and integrity, propulsion, and fire prevention. He and his firm designed almost 70% of all the Navy's fleet, including the mass-produced Liberty ships, which helped the Allies achieve victory in World War II. Gibbs had long dreamed of the perfect ship to regain American supremacy of the seas and had sketched an initial prototype in 1914. His quest was finally fulfilled with the SS United States. Triumphal maiden voyage on 1952 with a hull nearly 1,000 feet long and 2 inches thick. The vessel averaged an astounding 40 miles an hour, smashing the transatlantic speed record using only 2/3 of her power and establishing an achievement that has never been broken. In 1999, the United States was added to the National Register of Historic Places, even though she was less than 50 years of age, because of her compelling national significance, a status earned by less than 1% of the National Register's recognized historic properties. So let's take a look at the comparison between these two lovely ladies. So looking at the side-by-side comparison, you can see the photographs at the top. The United States is on the left and the Titanic is on the right. The SS United States was 990 feet in length, 101 feet in her beam, and she was 53,330 gross registered tons. And she had 12 decks. She was registered in the United States and holds 3,016 people or 15,000 troops. She could accommodate 894 in first class, 524 in cabin class, and 554 in tourist class, and she had a crew of 1,044. The Titanic was 882.5 feet long and 92.5 feet in her beam. She weighed 46,328 gross registered tons, and she had 9 decks. She was registered in the United Kingdom, and she could hold 3,547 people, including 735 first-class people, 674 second-class, and 1,024 third-class. And she had a crew complement of 860. The SS United States she was equipped with 24 additional rafts, and that could hold up to 4,060 people. She made 800 transatlantic crossings. She had 248,000 shaft horsepower, 38 knots, which could be 44 miles an hour at top speed. She went into service on June 3rd of 1952, and she was out of service on November 14th of 1969, and she currently is awaiting restoration. The Titanic was equipped with 16 plus 4 collapsible lifeboats. They could hold a total of 1,178 people. The Titanic unfortunately never completed a transatlantic crossing. She did have 55,000 shaft horsepower. She could go 24 knots or 28 miles per hour at top speed. She was in service on April 10th of 1912 and out of service at April 15th, 1912. And of course, she sank on her maiden voyage to New York. Going to the size differences, for the SS United States is historically significant as a remarkable example of innovation in engineering. At 990 feet long, the SS United States is over 100 feet longer than the Titanic. If you stood the United States to one end, she'd be the 16th tallest building in New York City. Today, the SS United States remains the largest passenger ship ever built in America. The R.M.S. Titanic was the largest moving object ever built back in 1912, but its reign was short-lived. If she had never struck an iceberg, Titanic, her place in history would have been quickly eclipsed by larger, faster ships. In fact, just 1 month after Titanic's sinking, a larger passenger ship was launched. When it comes to the speeds, the SS United States, as part of a top-secret Cold War program, was designated to break all the speed records. On her maiden voyage, she made a transatlantic run in just 3.5 days. Considering her size, imagine the Chrysler Building barreling through the ocean at 40 miles an hour. To this day, she still holds a transatlantic speed record. No other passenger ship crossed the Atlantic faster in both directions. The Titanic, despite what some film accounts implied, was not built for speed. The Titanic's intent, her speed would have been brought to her from Southampton to England to New York in 5.5 days. When it comes to the safety, many lessons learned back in Titanic's sinking influenced the design of the SS United States. Both ships had double bottoms. Both the United States extended up along the sides of her hull so that incident like Titanic's iceberg's collision would only cause minimal damage. The United States had watertight compartments that extended an unprecedented 40 feet above the waterline, and she had 20 compartments as opposed to Titanic's 16. The United States even had a redundant engine room, so that if one engine room floods, the other could still operate and generate electricity for the ship. If the United States had ever suffered comparable catastrophic damage to the Titanic, the ship would not have broken apart because of her superstructure was made of aluminum, much more flexible than steel, and not requiring any expansive joints. Many ships of Titanic era were destroyed by fire rather than collision damage. Taking this into account, the SS United States was built almost completely fireproof, utilizing many new materials invented and used in World War II. And it was said that the only wood aboard the SS United States were the pianos and the butcher blocks. William Francis Gibbs, the vessel's designer, only allowed mahogany pianos on board, after Theodore Steinway succeeded in demonstrating his piano's fire-resistant qualities by dousing one of them in gasoline and setting it on fire. The Titanic, despite what some film accounts implied, was not built for speed. Titanic's intense speed would have been brought from her Southampton, England to New York in 5.5 days. And that's basically the end of the comparison. It does seem like it's a little biased towards the SS United States, but we have to remember the source. It's on the SS United States website. So I thought this was an interesting little comparison. And my friends, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want, you can check it out. I'll put the links to all the pages in the description. So my friends, thank you so much for watching, and until my next video, I'll talk to you soon.